Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Powerhouse Woman Show. I'm your host, Monica Pierre. I'm an Emmy Award winning producer and journalist, and I believe in the power of stories. And so I often invite the best women to be on my show, to be a part of the Powerhouse Woman Show, to talk about their journey, lessons learned, and what they can do to support you. So we always have a chance for them to talk about what they're working on as well. So when it comes to people knowing you, knowing what you do, knowing what makes you brilliant, are you of the mindset, I'll just keep my head down and I'll just keep doing my work and eventually someone will notice me? Or are you tapping into the power of public relations? My guest says, hey, you better get on board here and go from stuck to savvy when it comes to PR. Let's bring up, there she is, our one and only
Yay.
Nina Daffé, and she is CEO and founder of the Far Above Rubies. So excited and so proud. She's joining us from London. Look at us. Listen, we're international, y'all. We're
I love
international. Yeah.
it.
And Nina is an award-winning content marketer and PR specialist, and she knows an awful lot about not just hiding, but shining and speaking up. Welcome to the Powerhouse Woman Show, Nina.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having
For
me.
those who watch us all the time, this is a reschedule. There was some issue, but we went on, and I said, Nina, you're going to be on the show. Doggone it. And here we are. So,
Bankrupt.
well, let's talk a little bit about, the whole thing about it. Build it and they will come. And you
Mm,
say, no way, no how. That is not how it works. So tell us
yeah,
about why it's important, especially for powerhouse women, to let
yeah.
the world know that they exist.
Oh, yeah. I think I learned that from personal experience. Like, if you build it, they will come is truly just like a field of dreams, just like the movie. And I think it's really, really important to put yourself out there with PR because the fact of the matter is, people don't flock to things that they don't know exists. Right. And so if you don't, put yourself out there, if you don't let yourself be known and let people know what you are known for, no one's going to come, no one's basically going to come, no one's going to actually come towards you. So I think that in itself is why it's so important.
Right. So whether you have a nonprofit or a
Mhm.
business or your thought leadership, or you're really doing concrete things to make the world doggone it a better place, how do people get to know you? Because people struggle with the mindset that I don't want to brag too much. I don't want to be
Mm.
braggadocious. What advice do you give people, especially when they've just been kind of hiding or shrinking a little bit?
Yeah, I love the fact that you just touched on mindset because I really do think that it begins with that. We go in the direction of our beliefs ultimately. And so, if you believe, for example, that showing up and talking about yourself and how you can help others is bragging, then that is what it becomes. And so, for me, I would really start with switching that mindset rather than seeing it as being braggadocious or being self-serving. Think about it as your way of serving others. If you're if you have a mission and a vision and a way that you wish to impact people, you only get to do that by basically increasing like your distribution, right? By actually increasing how many people see you and know of your services. And so the best way to get over it in the first place is really first and foremost to see it as, when I show up, I am helping people and I'm serving others.
Oh, that is so powerful. Absolutely. And again, I always say too, Nina, and you can chime in or challenge me on this. If
Yeah.
you come from a good place in your
Mhm.
heart and in your spirit, you're not going to take advantage of anyone. You're not going to put yourself out there and be bogus. You're going to come from a place of helping and serving.
Exactly. And then all that PR does then is just amplify your good intentions. So you actually get to spread more of your good intentions by being out there a bit more. So yeah, I think that's perfect what you said.
Oh, thank you. And so your whole thing, your mission, your purpose as the founder and CEO of the Far Above Rubies collection, which I cannot wait to delve into and find out how this all came about.
Yeah.
You help people go from stumped to savvy. Give us an
Yeah.
idea of what that means because I get the stumped part. It's the
Yeah.
savvy part that you can always, it's like, how does that happen?
Yeah, a lot of people, they come to me saying, I want to get more visible, but a lot of the time it's that they don't know where to start. If I think about myself and, when I first started, I started out as a blogger, and my main frustration was how to get my mission and vision in front of more people. So that's that stumped part, right? That's that, okay, I want to go from A to B, but I have no way of knowing how to get to B because that's just not what my experience is. So the savvy part is what I provide people with, which is what I call the PR Powerhouse playbook, which is literally just like the framework and the blueprint that helps you to get from A to B, right? Think of it as like a sat nav or a GPS that says turn here, go here, these are your steps. And so yeah, that's the savvy part.
I love the playbook idea because especially because a lot of people may saying, I get what Nina is saying. I totally, but I just
Mm,
feel so stuck and stumped and don't know where to start. So this playbook is actually what someone will need. Are you
yes.
talking about going from stump to savvy about social media, or do you do a mix of traditional media? Because some would argue that, oh, it doesn't matter if you're on TV, it doesn't matter if you're on radio or print.
Yeah.
Those things are gone. Those things are dead.
Yeah. No, I really, really love that question because if we look at like the literal definition of PR is literally anything that gets you goodwill from like your ideal audience or your ideal clients, right? So there is definitely a place for social media or even networking or any of those sorts of things. But I think we're all aware also of the shortcomings of social media, the fact that there's an algorithm that kind of fights you, and what you're actually trying to put out there, the fact that it can kind of take time to build, etc., etc. I lean more towards PR in terms of podcasts, blogs, magazines, speaking, all of those sorts of things, because it allows you to leverage other people's audiences. So rather than having to be on the struggle bus trying to build your following and, fight the algorithm to actually like be seen, you are literally then put it right in front of your ideal clients. You have a built-in audience right there and then from these platforms. So that's really what I'm showing people how to do. But the best thing is when you then, are on a podcast, for example, or a magazine or whatever it is, you can then repurpose that for social media. So it's a cycle. It all has its place.
Right. It's so amazing because when I started the Powerhouse Woman show right after COVID, I
Yeah.
had a traditional radio show. The
Mm,
shutdown happened. They said, come in here, put together some shows, and then that's the end of that. And go, but we'll bring it back. Right. Never happened. Right. So I decided, what can I do? What skills do I
mhm.
have naturally that I can do? I can go live. I can interview people, and I just started it. I just started doing the
Yeah.
show, and people said yes. I think in the fifth, 5 seasons that I've done the show, only one person has declined. One.
Wow.
And do I
Wow.
have millions and millions? No. But they recognize what you just said. I'm on Monica's
Yes.
show. I can
Yeah.
leverage her audience. I can
Hmm.
get the link. I can get the show. And then I can absolutely put it in other venues or other
Yeah.
platforms. And now
Absolutely.
I have PR companies, Nina, reaching out to me to
Oh, I
have their
love it.
people on this show.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
Congrats.
love it. Well, thank you for saying yes as well. So,
Oh, of
talk a
course.
little bit about your company name, which I love. Let me go up here and put the lower third. The Far Above Rubies collection. All right, Miss
Hmm.
PR strategist, tell us about the name and how it all came about.
Yeah, so Far Above Rubies is actually based on the scripture in Proverbs 31, where it talks about how a woman's worth is far above rubies. Where that comes from actually is so the first iteration of the Far Above Rubies collection was, as I said, to begin with, just a blog. And what I was doing was interviewing other women, just to highlight more of like the women of the Bible that we don't traditionally get to hear about. And it was also about female empowerment from a biblical perspective, because I'm going to be very honest with you, I was very tired of, especially coming from a Nigerian background and a very traditional Christian background, that sort of double noose that could be a bit oppressive to women. And I was getting a lot of questions. Where's your husband? You're not married
Yes.
yet.
How many kids do you have?
Yeah, exactly. So that Far Above Rubies originally came out of, I want to know more about what God says about women. But as I started to grow and learn more about PR, people then started to be like, well, you seem like you're walking in your purpose. How can I do the same thing? And how can I get myself out there? So now, yes, I absolutely have gone from highlighting the women of the past to now highlighting modern women and showing them how they can show up through PR and stuff like that. But if you look at my social media and all of those sort of things, you can see that my roots are still there in the way that I inspire people and encourage people with my words as well.
Right. I was very inspired. We met in Paris, France.
Yeah.
We were both speakers. You even received an award. And thank you, Lori Gradito, with her Rise to Millions. And,
Yes.
and I just was just so drawn to you that I wanted to get to know you and invite you to the show. And one of the things, particularly when you are the gatekeeper of a podcast, you get to decide. There's no other person saying, well, no, our audience doesn't really know her. Why would we have her on?
Yeah.
I'm going, no, I'm having Nina on my show. But I also, one of the things we do with the Powerhouse Woman show is talk about life lessons and people who inspire us
Mm.
and make a difference. Talk about your mother and the impact she has in the world of entrepreneurship for you.
Yeah. You know, as
Anything you
soon as
can
you
spark.
mentioned my mom, I
I
smile.
know, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, me and my mom are very, very close. And if I think about like her impact on me, especially in the world of entrepreneurship, so my mom came to this country from Nigeria in the early 80s. And basically like that Drake song started from the bottom, now we hear, like that was her. She took on lots of menial sort of jobs, cleaning positions, whatever she could to make sure that me and my sister were okay. And what she eventually started to do was invest her money into property. So she ended up becoming a landlady. And I would be with her when she would go to like real estate agents. I would be with her, when she got new talent. I would be the one helping her to clean up the house. If anything was damaged, she would take me along to go shopping. She would talk to me about these things and money and how important it was to have an education and all of these sorts of things. She was always very open and honest. And I remember growing up and saying, oh, I'm going to be a landlady like my mummy, like, and all of
Yeah.
those sorts of things. And I know that the drive that I have, like in my own entrepreneurship journey, definitely comes from watching her and seeing everything that she went through and talked to me about.
Well, you are an award-winning content marketer and PR specialist. So how is Mum reacting to the recognition,
Oh my
shining,
God.
and awards that you are receiving?
She is so proud. If you know Nigerian parents,
Only when I see on
they
TV.
they Nigerians, there's a saying that we have in pidgin English, Niger not they carry last, which means we don't come last, like we always win, you know.
I like
Yeah, so
that. I'll have to write
always.
that down.
So yeah, they are very much like just really, really proud. First of all, like to see me obviously walking this walk, but to be recognized for it as well. Like, yeah, whenever I tell my mom about, these achievements and stuff like that, she's just, you can always see her chest swell.
Oh, and great. That's wonderful. And I would love to see, the old thing is that for Nigerians, it's what? Doctor, lawyer, engineer, PR
Engineer.
professional.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. If only, right?
I'm going to add that. It's like, okay, what do you know? You don't know anything. Before we let you go, I am intrigued by the name of your company. You are the founder of it. There we go.
Mhm.
And I want you to talk a little bit about how it is evolving and what are you doing in 2025 that we should know about. And
Mm.
I would encourage the Powerhouse women watching to contact you?
Oh, thank you. So yeah, like even going back to that whole far above rubies, I think one of the things that I very much noticed is, first of all, we as women are powerful. We are powerhouses, like even the name of your show says, but we don't always know it and we don't always walk in it. And I think definitely as a PR specialist, that's definitely something I see a lot. Women shrinking themselves, hiding their shine, etc., etc.
Mhm.
So as much as obviously I want to see women shine and put themselves out there. I think my real mission and vision is to stop that kind of negative cycle, of women holding themselves back and not walking in the purpose that God actually called them to be in, right? And so the way that I do that is through my retreats. So they're called Media Magic. I literally just had one in July. We were in Tulum in Mexico. And the next one next year is going to be in October, I think the 2nd to the 6th. And we're going to be in Mykonos in Greece. And it's literally just 4 days, 4 nights of, networking, PR education. We go on excursions, but we really also just do the deep work of diving into the limiting beliefs that have been holding us back up until now from actually not putting ourselves out there and, helping the people that we are called to. So, yeah, anyone who kind of wants to know more, I would say the best place to go to would be like my website, which is faraboverubiescollection.com, or on Instagram is where I'm most active. And the handle there is at Far Above Rubies Collection.
Well, I do, we put people on, we do what we want on this show. Dee from New Orleans says she's guilty of being reserved and, I guess holding back. So thank you for sharing that, Dee. And there is
So,
help. There is someone who you could, reach out to definitely to talk about that. This has
yeah.
been so good having you on the show, on the Powerhouse Woman show. And it was just a gift to see you and meet you and connect with you. And this won't be the end of it. I always
No.
warn people ahead of time. If you didn't mean it, don't invite me to reach out to you and stay in touch. If you didn't mean it, don't say it. Don't say it. Oh, she goes, regardless, still in. Okay. Oh, wonderful. And yes, thank you so much, Dee, for being
That's
with us on the
awesome.
show. And thank you, too, a wonderful powerhouse woman, my first interview from London. And I thank you for that because it's amazing. You're amazing. So thanks for being with us.
No, thank you for having me. And I absolutely did mean it, by the way. You're stuck with me now. So
Now you have a whole bunch of people who've heard it. Same here, same here. You and again, I come from media. I've dealt with PR companies. I know the importance, but right now, it's never been more empowering for powerhouse
Mm,
women and other people who would be told no, who could
yeah,
never get on the air, who could never have a segment or a profile piece on them. We create
absolutely.
these opportunities for ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. Hold on just a second. And I want to thank all of you for being with us today on the Powerhouse Woman Show. I hope you've heard something how you can leverage PR, expand your mind about what PR is and what it can look like for you so that you can speak up, step out, and shine in this world. Thank you for joining us. Our show has been brought to you by the Storymaker Academy. We are enrolling for our next cohort, which begins January 13th, 2025. I will have to have a conversation with you to see if it's a good fit for you, but I think it will be. So reach out to me at Monica at the Powerhouse Woman Show or Monica at Storymaker Academy. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next time on the Powerhouse Woman Show.